Hello, everybody. I'm going live, and how come it always looks different when I do that? What in the world? Okay, so it's probably going to be a little bit congested, and there's going to be a lot of noise. I've got people moving all over the place, but look, I had to jump on and do this with you today, mostly because I have a paint event tomorrow, and I haven't been live, and I don't even know how long. So I thought it was a good time. I'm just gonna jump on, paint with you guys. I know it's a Saturday, everybody's probably doing other things, and this is probably not something that they are super excited to watch, but hopefully you'll have fun with me today, okay? So I'm just kind of sharing on my personal page, and then we will dive right in. Thank you, darling. My husband is home. He's making me coffee, but in the meantime, I have a loaded tea. So I'm going to talk to you just like I do when I teach these paint classes. So maybe, you'll pick something up, you'll learn something. Maybe you won't. Who knows? But I always, when I host these paint classes, we go to, local restaurants, different things like that. I provide everything you need to paint, including the paint, the high-end palettes. You got some brushes, you got a canvas. It's a 16 by 20, and I don't know if it's like the Facebook thing that's got it looking so weird size, but it's just weird. We even have like our own I even use little easels that everybody gets to see. So you also get paper towels. I mean, those are basically the only things you really need, along with maybe some water. And because I provide the paints, and usually I have an example painting, which is what we are doing right now. We are working on the example painting. So for that painting, I'm going to use just a random bunch of colors. I'm going to use blue. I'm going to use pink. Usually I make people mix up their own pink, but today we just have it, okay? And then we have black, yellow, a little bit of green, white, all the important stuff. And to get started, it's pretty simple. Like, we're going to do a lake, like a sunset type painting, okay? So to move the paint around really easy on your canvas, you need to have your brush wet. So sometimes for the backgrounds, I do it different for every single one, but for this particular one, we are just going to have a wet brush. Not soaking wet, but just a little bit wet, kind of rub off some of that excess water, have a damp brush. And we want to figure out where our center is going to be. Now, in art, nothing is ever centered. Everything is a little bit off-centered somehow. It's something they teach you in art school. It's something you need to remember. Nothing is centered, okay? So we're going to kind of figure out where our center is and then go right above it. And we're going to just do a little bit of yellow and white right down the center. So I'm going to take some yellow on the corner of my brush like this. I'm going to take some white on the other side like that, okay? So figure out kind of where the center of my painting is. And I'm going to go just a little bit above that and just maybe do roughly about 2-inch section, and I might have to load my paintbrush a couple times. Not a big deal, right? So a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, and go back and forth. Like I said, about a 2-inch section is all we need to do. And if we want it a little bit lighter, a little bit more yellow, you can always add more. I'm adding a little bit of white more to it because I actually kind of want that white to be really, really light. This is my horizon line. This is where the sun is going to be setting. So I want the center of this to be almost white, okay? So I'm going to put a lot of white in that center and then just kind of blend it out just like that. Easy peasy stuff, right? So my next color, I'm going to do some pink. I'm going to do a little bit of pink up here and then a little bit of pink down here. So I'm going to pick up some pink, and I'm not even going to wash my brush because all of these colors we kind of want to blend together. It is a sunset, okay? So where that yellow was, I'm going to put a little bit of pink on the corner, a little bit of white on the other side. It's okay if your paint mixes up a little bit. That's the fun part, okay? So then we just kind of blend it together again, just a little bit like this. You see what I'm talking about? So it doesn't really matter if it's all on the brush because it's all going to combine on the canvas anyways. Okay, a little bit of pink up there. And we're gonna do this one. I might even come up just a little bit more on one side. I might pick up just a little bit more pink. It's kind of turning a little peachy, but that's okay. That's okay. And then we're going to do a little bit on the bottom too. The same process. So we're going to pick up a little bit of pink in the corner, a little bit of white. And this time I'm not going to make this as much, but maybe just a little bit darker. I might even put a little more up here. And I really never know how it's going to turn out or what I'm doing until I actually get going with it. So a lot of times my husband will ask me, what are you painting? And I'm always telling him, I don't know, because even though I have an idea, it never comes out the same way. So I have an idea right now. I have an example that I'm supposed to be working on, have kind of a concept. We'll see how it comes out, right? So then I want this really, really deep blue color. I want almost purple blue on the top and on the bottom. So I'm going to grab that dark blue that I put on my palette. I'm going to do it the same way. A little bit of blue in a corner, a little bit of white on the other side, maybe half and half. Okay? And then we're just going to, and what happens to pink and blue when they come together? Anybody know? Any ideas? You end up with a little bit of purple, right? So I kind of want a little bit of purple in there. I'm going to just pick up some pink and blend it right here on the canvas as we go. So now we have this super cool dark blue area. Now we're going to do the same thing on the top. So we're going to grab some blue on the corner, and I don't think I'm going to grab as much this time, just a little bit of white. Okay, and now we are going to spread that up here. And again, I want that to kind of become like a purpley color up there. So in order to get that purple, what do I got to do? Grab some pink. Okay, so grab some pink. And it kind of becomes this really deep, pretty purple. Look at how pretty that is. You can already see how awesome this is. I'm kind of losing the pink in the bottom part though, so I might come back and add a little bit there. So, and that's just kind of how it's going to go. Every time you work on something like this, sometimes it's going to come out perfect, exactly like you see it, or you see it in your head, or if you're using an example to do, sometimes it works out perfect. But sometimes you have to play with it a little bit more. Sometimes it changes for the better. You never really know until you just do it. Okay, here we go. Oh, I like that so much. What do you guys think? What do you think? So far, so good? I'm going to add just a little bit more blue. This is going to kind of be the lake. Okay, right here is the lake. And we don't have to worry about going too much further. I kind of want it to be more like a greeny blue when it gets down in here. Kind of like a, I don't know, just a different shade of blue. So you can kind of play with that as you want, but I'm actually going to put, and I mix as I go. Like I don't mix on a palette and then just whatever. So I kind of put it all on a brush, see how it turns out, especially when you're working with sunsets, because it's a little different. But today, since I'm going live, I'm going to kind of just grab a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, and I am going to mix it up on the palette. Not something I normally do, but I do also want it to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to grab some black too. It's almost like a gray blue. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be different shades, and that's okay. And I'm just going to do just a little bit, not a whole lot. The bottom part, I'm actually going to put like palettes to represent like a dock. So I don't need too much of it, but just a little bit. And you want it to blend, so sometimes you pick up a couple other colors. Now I'm going to tell you, white is a blending agent. So when you are working with acrylic paints and you want to paint something and you want it to blend out really nicely, grab you a little bit of white. That always helps blend things out. The problem is when you want it to be a dark color, it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. So here we go. See that pretty grayish greeny color? I really like that. What do you think? I think we're going to come down just a little bit more, not too terribly much. I'm trying to think. based on the example that I have here, what they want me to do. Okay, we're mixing up some colors. It's going to be a little bit different than what I've already got. More greeny, maybe. There we go. I think that's probably far enough, and then I will put the dock pieces right there. What do you think? What do you think? So if you're jumping on, just say, hey, I know I haven't been live in a while, guys. I've kind of just been going through some stuff. I've kind of been struggling with time management and emotional issues. Kind of a little crazy. So, all right. So the top part, we're going to do something similar, but I kind of want it to be a little lighter. This is the sky. So I'm going to grab some blue, and remember how we mixed up those colors, right? We have a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. You can do the same thing. Just kind of mix it up. White is a blending agent, and this time I don't think I'm going to add any black. Let's just see where it goes. Let's just play with it, okay? Hi, Tina. Oh, thank you. I hope you guys are doing good. It can't be so cold anymore, right? It's got to be getting warmer now. It's starting to get hot here. Texas is hot. I know you guys have talked about coming down. You should really think about it. Now's the time, because much longer it's going to be hot, 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 hot. All right, so what do we think? What do we think? Do we like that color for a sky, sunset type thing? I kind of like it, I think. I think I'm going to go with it. I think I'm going to go with it. So all we're doing is going back and forth, blending it out. Now, if you find, you can kind of see how my paint isn't exactly covering the canvas very well. It isn't as smooth as it once was. Sometimes you can just grab a little bit of water. Okay, grab a little bit of water, spread it out, and that'll help. Also, like I said, white is a good blending agent. And sometimes you just need more paint on your brush. So it's intimidating. Some people really don't like to use a lot of paint because they're afraid it's going to be, you're going to screw things up, but I promise you won't. Let me tell you what, this easel right here was my Christmas present for my husband. And I've been in such a funk for so long. This is the first time I've actually used it. Can you believe it? Finally getting warm. I bet it doesn't get near as hot as it does here though. Okay, so I prefer heat over cold any day. Just so you know. I wonder. Let's see. No, I kind of like that color. I think we're just going to roll with it. I like it. This easel is absolutely gorgeous. It's really nice, dark color. He did so good. And like I said, I've been in such a funk and doing just crazy stuff. I just really haven't had time. Haven't felt it, so it hasn't been done. Now, if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm actually painting the sides of my canvas. It's what they call a gallery move. Like if you're doing a gallery painting, it's usually painted all the way around, all the way to the sides. It just kind of gives it that finished gallery look. Now, if you're going to put it in a frame or something, you don't have to worry about it if you're going to have it framed. And I should have been doing that as I went along, because now I have to try to match colors to get the sides all right, but that's okay. It's okay if they don't. I'll just kind of blend it in a little bit. And I might just come back and do that later. But either way, that's something you can do, especially in your extra time. So a lot of times, you know, in acrylics, you do your background first, then you do your midground, then you do your foreground. It's a process. That's how acrylics work. A little bit different. So here we go. There's that. Now, the rest of it now, the bottom part of it, I want it to look kind of like palettes, like it's a dock, right? So, and I kind of want them to be more of like white and black. But I'm going to start with a solid black. So I really prefer to work with square tip brushes. This is a square tip brush. This is a pretty good size brush, right? If you are intimidated by the square tip, you can always go with the smaller one. I just work with the bigger one. When I teach classes, I say this is Big Daddy, this is Little Mama, this is Baby. Big Daddy gets the job done, Little Mama does everything, and Baby ain't good for nothing. Seriously, that's what I say in my classes. So here we go. Square tip brush. We're going to dip it in the black, and black is a very strong, very permanent color. So take this one easy if you can, but I'm just going to draw a line right here and try to keep it not necessarily straight, but as best I can. Now notice I just take it and I slide it gently side by side. It's not you don't press down real hard and go like that. It's not what we want, people. You just, nice gentle little movement like that. Okay, so let's try that out. We're just going to kind of go across. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just want somewhat of a line there to represent your dog. Now, the dog is going to be kind of black and white, kind of rusty, kind of old, kind of worn looking dog. A lot of people do brown. You can do brown if you want to, but mine's going to be black and white, grayish. So I'm going to grab some black and some white. Black on one corner, white on the other, about half and half. I'll play with it, add some more colors as we go if I need to. And I'm actually going to put these up and down like this. See how that blends out? And it is a lot of black, way more than I want. So I'm just going to grab some straight white on my brush. I'm not cleaning my brush. I'm not changing my brush out. I'm not doing anything. And I'm just kind of going up to where that line is. That line is simply my marker. If I go over that line, that is okay. Now this time I'm picking up a little bit of black, a little bit of white. This is something that is all about what you want to do, how you feel. If you're doing this and you're looking at it and you're like, I want it to be more gray, then make it more gray. If you want it to be black, make it black. To each their own. So when I teach these classes, I tell people that nobody's is ever going to look the same. My original, I will never be able to duplicate. Nobody will. They're always going to be a little bit different, and that's what makes them special, right? That's art. So here we go. Yes, I know, y'all. I have been hiding. I have not been live in forever. Got a lot going on. I'm trying to get back to it, but for those that don't know, I kind of have struggled a little bit with my real estate career this year. It's been a tough one. Had a lot of ups and downs. Kind of put me in a bad mood, so I ended up taking a job just so that I could, feel better about myself, make a little money, have some time, and I really enjoy it. I really, really do. Oh, look. Thank you, my beautiful child. My husband made me coffee. My daughter brought me coffee. We all know I love my coffee. So, all right, we're going to keep going. White and black, up and down. Notice how we changed. Now, the first time we were doing this, we were going back and forth, right? That's how we did our background. But now we're doing up and down because we want to kind of mimic the movement or the laying of the wood on the dock. So the wood's laying like this, right? It's not laying across. It's laying like this. So you want your brush strokes to go in that same direction. Okay, here we go. Kind of got it. And it's probably pretty good. I might add just a little bit more white. And kind of put a few little brush strokes in place like that. And this, my friends, is our background so far. Pretty easy stuff, right? It didn't even take us, but how long have we been live? 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Look at how far we are already. Isn't that awesome? Didn't take long at all, right? So here we go. I'm going to put a little bit down the sides for that gallery wrap look. And then we're going to start on some of the details. I think I actually got some yellow in there. Oops. Here we go. Now we're going to move on and we're going to work on some of the details. Okay, this is kind of the fun part. This is not the foreground, this is the midground. This is the middle section. This is starting to make it come to life is what we're doing. So now we're going to kind of move on to the Mama brush. The Mama brush is a medium-sized brush. I like to use square tips. Some people prefer round tip brushes. Some people like angle brushes. Usually for all my classes, whatever I'm using, you're going to get 2. And for this one, we're going to do a square tip medium brush. I call it Little Mama. So grab your Little Mama brush. And let's get started. So first things first, I think we're going to go ahead and kind of map out the wood planks, okay? Because we've already kind of got that started. And it's pretty simple. We really just want to separate this out. You want to put a little bit of angle in your outside ones to give it the impression that we're drawing the image in towards the center point, okay? So it doesn't have to be a whole lot, just a little bit of an angle on the outside. Maybe kind of pick a spot, have your plank go. Doesn't have to be perfect. Black is a scary color because once you put it down, you can't usually take it off. I mean, you can. With acrylics, anything is fixable, but, and now we're going to kind of straighten out a little bit with the other ones. And I'm going to only do just a few, so we're going to kind of looking at the example that they are kind of wanting me to do. Like that. And I'm just kind of mapping it out. We'll get around and kind of fix it a little bit if we want to do it a little bit differently. Kind of like that. What do you think? Not too bad, right? Not too bad. So now we're going to take and solidify this line. Go over it a little bit. Make it a little darker again because we kind of went over it. Make it a little bit bigger. Don't be afraid. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a super straight line. You actually kind of want it to have some different sizes and lengths to it. It just makes it look more realistic. So don't worry about this perfectly straight line. Okay, if we wanted a perfectly straight, perfect line, I would have got out the ruler and a Sharpie. We're using paint. So now we have to come in here and you want to just kind of make these little corners a little bit more curvy. And if you find that you can't handle this brush, you can always move on to baby brush for that part. It's just a little pointy brush. And sometimes things like that are just, makes it just a little bit easier, okay? So we just grab that brush, giving it just a little bit more detail. There we go, just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It's the best part about acrylics. Even if you screw up, you can always come back and fix it. And if this is something you do at home and you get to a place where you don't know what to do, just message me. I'd be happy to help you with it. I know I was supposed to do this live on Friday, but by the time I got home from work, it was late and I was tired and I just didn't want to do it. Today, I don't have to work in the morning, but we do have this paint class. There's so much activity going on, I didn't think I could sleep anyways. So, here we go. All right, so now I'm going to actually put in just a little bit more whites and spots. Doesn't have to be like dramatic, but I want it to be noticeable. I want it to look like a little bit of texture in the wood. What do you guys think? Pretty easy stuff, huh? Not too terribly hard. Everybody can do it. Anybody can paint. I have taught people to paint and they have said, there is no way I can do that. And they've walked out of my paint class and were just amazed. It's easy, easy, easy stuff, y'all. If I can do it, you can do it. There we go. We are getting there. I'm hoping that I will kind of come back and do some more lives again. It's just, it hasn't been an ideal time for me, so I'm kind of coming back, guys. Slowly but surely. I know I always do this to y'all. I kind of disappear for a while, then I'm back. Disappear for a while, then I'm back. I'm a moody girl. Apparently. Moody girl. Okay. Here we go. So what do you think? Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool? Not too terribly bad. I'm actually just kind of trying to move this so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Pretty easy stuff. I think anybody can do that. All right. So the next part is right at our horizon line. I want it to look like there's hills or trees or something in the background, okay? So now we have to draw another line, and we have to use black. It's a hard color, y'all, but I promise it's worth it, okay? So remember when I said you want some yellow in the top and some on the bottom? This is what I was talking about, okay? So now we're gonna take that medium size brush, put a little bit of black paint on there. I don't know if you can see how much is there. And we're just gonna kind of draw a random line. It doesn't have to be straight because this is the landline, okay? Just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't be afraid. Just let it roll out there. Now I'm actually going to take baby brush and we're going to kind of work in our hills and our mountains and whatever we want to do. Now I generally will use a bigger brush for this, but this is kind of a thin area. I want to show you right. So we're going to just kind of add a few here. Keep going back and forth. And actually, I think I'm going to change my mind and go back to my mama brush. Just not fast enough for me, y'all. Okay, so here we go. Now, the more pressure you pull into the side, the bigger your brush is going to spread out in area. So it kind of helps. See, I'm not making it all the same. I want it to be a little bit different in some areas, a little bit deeper. But over here, I think I'm going to keep it pretty small. Now, to each their own. You can't go wrong here. If you want to do it bigger mountains, smaller mountains, whatever you want to do, that's our horizon line, guys. What do you think? What do you think? Pretty cool stuff, huh? It wasn't hard, pretty easy. Knocked it out. And I'm kind of just adding a little bit more. There we go. Horizon line. Okay? Now, up here, we need to do clouds. Clouds can get very intimidating. People get very scared when it comes time to do clouds. You just got to do it. You just got to do it. So basically clouds, I start with white, but I try to make it real thin like, okay? So I'm going to clean my brush. Now here's the thing. If you have dirty water, don't worry about it. Just make sure all the paint gets off your brush. You're going to take it, go back and forth on the bottom. Not like this and squish it, just back and forth across the bottom like that, okay? And then dry it really good. And it doesn't matter how dark your water is. It doesn't matter how many colors come out on your paper towels. As long as your brush is dry, your colors won't transfer, okay? So I have to. So now we're going to take this brush like this. We're going to grab some white, and you don't want too much, just a little bit. And I kind of actually would wipe off some of the excess, just a little bit on the top. We're going to pick a spot. We're going to kind of just dab away. And we're going to put in, trying to see how big I want it. Maybe like that. And then I always just kind of take my finger and spread it around a little bit if I want to. Pretty cool, huh? Not hard. Not hard at all. There we go. Now the good thing about clouds is that there's always a little bit of, it's not all the same color. It's poofy and, you know, fun and soft, and so that color that shows through is totally okay. If you want to just wipe some of that away, or if you want to add more, sometimes I will pick up just a little bit of blue, kind of work that in there, and just have fun with it. Just kind of play with the idea of clouds. It's just little dabs with the tip of your brush, not hard, just super light. some whites, some blues, just like that. What do you think? Pretty easy stuff, huh? I know everybody thought it was hard, but I promise you it's not. It's easy, easy, easy. All right, hold on. Let me get back to where I was. Okay, and now we are going to do maybe 2 more clouds, and then we'll put a little moon in there. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. So let's do today. Okay? Oh, I did check my sound and look. Okay. So here we go. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to maybe put another one over here. We're just going to kind of brush it in, dab it in, use our fingers to smudge it out just a little bit. And I don't spend a lot of time on this, for real, guys. I just kind of little tiny movements, like little tiny brush strokes, and then I fan it out with my finger. Now you can use a different brush, like a softer round brush. When I teach these classes, I only give you a couple brushes. So we have to learn to paint with what we have. This is one of them. I think I like that. What do you guys think? What do you think? I think I like it. Okay. Let's see. Then we are going to, oh my goodness, trying to make sure everything is working, and I am not doing so good. Here we go again. Everything is working. I am not doing so good. Here we go again. Stupid sound. Okay. All right. Here we go. Last one. Ready? I'm gonna put it right here. This one's a little bit darker. I didn't really prepare that well for it, but once I blend it out, just little tiny brush strokes, little dabs. Little dab will do you here. There we go. Maybe have another little one hiding up underneath. What do you think? Couple nice little clouds. That was easy, wasn't it? There's nothing to it. Now, our moon, on the other hand, now I'm going to straight up tell you, they want a moon on this. I am so bad at doing circles, but I feel like I freehand everything. We're going to freehand this too. I want a half a moon up here in the corner. Not perfectly. You don't want to go too tall. You don't want to go too low. Just like right in here. So I'm just going to half moon. Backwards C, I guess you could say. Like that. I'm going to make it thicker. I'm just going to come around a couple different times. Everybody has their downfalls. I have a couple of them when it comes to the creative side of things. I am really bad at circles, and I am really, really bad at like floral arrangement type stuff, and I'm not very good at bows. You would think of all things those would be something I'm pretty good at, but I'm really not. What do you think? Think that's good enough, or should I add a little more? I don't know. A little bit more, maybe? There we go. Here's one of those things where you gotta learn to put the paintbrush down. You're never gonna be entirely satisfied, so I do want it bigger. See? See what I'm saying? Never put that brush down. Here I go. Little tiny bit bigger. This is what I mean when I look at something and I'm like, oh, it'll be quick and easy, and then all of a sudden I find myself trying to perfect everything. Okay. For real though, I'm done. That's it for that, okay? Now we have to do like some reflection in the water of your sky. So we're going to use the big brush. We're going to use a little tiny bit of white. You're going to wipe off all that excess white. You don't hardly want any on your brush. I always test it on my hands, but it just makes a mess. If you don't like a mess, don't worry about it. But then you're just going to lightly, and I'm talking lightly. This is a brush stroke back and forth, but you're just barely touching the canvas. You're just kind of back and forth, just like that. This is our water. We need a reflection of the moon. That way we can tell that it's actual water. And we really, underneath the land here, we really want it really, really white. Okay? Really white right there. There we go. See? Look at that. Doesn't it look pretty? Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now you might want to put a few more in different places. Just be real gentle with that. Don't go crazy. Just a little bit. Isn't it pretty? It took us just a few minutes. Look, we've only been live just a little bit. Hasn't been long. I don't even know how long. How long has it been? Anybody know? I can't even tell. I opened my laptop so I could finally see. And I don't know. It's just weird. Okay. So now we have just a few more things to do. I want to do some tall grasses and stuff that might be coming up from behind these docks. I feel like this is just too plain. We want to do more, right? So I am going to start with my Big Daddy brush. I'm going to pull all of the bristles nice and tight using my fingers. My hands are always dirty when I'm painting. It just is what it is. So, and we're going to dip it in the black. Now this is kind of like a shadowing type thing. This isn't, we're not going into a lot of detail or making it crazy, but we're just going to take this. Remember when I said you push it down and you pull it up. See that? See how easy that was? It's kind of like doing a tree. We're doing tall blades of grass. You push down harder at the bottom, and as you come to the top, you pull away and straighten up. Okay? So let's try it. Let's keep going. We're going to have some bigger ones. We're going to have some smaller ones. I'm trying to think. I think, what does this one have? This one's got a couple there. And then we might have a couple there. This brush might be just a little bit too big. I'll probably move on to, once I get everything kind of in place, I'm going to move on to a different brush here. Taller on the outsides. It's part of the focal point of things. You don't want the centerpiece to be the biggest piece. You want the stuff on the outside to be the bigger pieces, okay? It's how you draw people's attention to a painting. You want it to be more towards the center. You don't usually want them to focus on the outsides of a painting, so that's how you get it, okay? So we've moved on to Little Mama brush. It's the same process. This time I'm actually just taking it flat and I am turning it in different areas. Over here I'm going to put a couple, some smaller blades maybe like that. There we go. A few over here. Those got a little wild. That can happen. It can get a little out of control, that grass, right? Come up with another right there. There we go. I'm going to have just a few more blades of grass, and then I'm going to come back with the mama or the baby brush and do even a few more. I just want a couple taller ones on this side. And then I think I want to do like a cattail. So cattail would probably be a little bit taller. Let's go a little higher. Kind of like that. Maybe. Think so? Maybe. Okay. Cattail, we're just going to kind of pick some of it and just, oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? I think it's so pretty. I love the water. I'm a sucker for the water. I haven't even been on my kayak yet this year. Last year, I don't even think I went on it one time. I don't think I did. It was a wild year. So, hopefully I get on it a little bit this year. Do another one right here. What do you think? What do you think? And then maybe just some . Yes, I like it. I like it, y'all. I like it. I have just a few little sprugs, I don't know what the words are. I'm making them up as I go along. There we go. Couple more. And I kind of want to just fill this in a little bit with some random grass, some random seaweed. I don't know what you call it. Tall grass. I'm going to put a few in here and there. I love my easel. My husband did a great job with this. It holds everything so nice and steady. A few more, maybe a couple little coming off of it. And this is one of those too, that this is kind of, to each their own. You might want a little more, you might want a little less. You might want taller, shorter. And the best part is when I teach this class, which I've taught this class, this is the first time with this painting, but I've done this several times with them. I haven't been over there in a while. They all kind of know my tricks, and I don't have to tell them a whole lot. They just kind of know what to do. But this one's a little bit different than anything we've done over there, I think. So, it'll be fun. Now I'm going to take this and dry brush just a little bit. Pull up some of that black. Just to kind of fill in that bottom. Make it look a little thicker without taking away from the blades of grass. Okay? There we go. I think it looks so good. I'm so excited. What do you guys think? Isn't that so nice? It's come out so nice so far. So pumped. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited to see everybody and do everything. All this fun painting. Okay. All right. So we kind of got that done, right? There's only a few more steps that I have left, and then we are complete. We have done it all. So stars and stars in the water, kind of my thing. I cheat. Straight up, I cheat. And I'm going to show you how I cheat. I use the back end of brushes for these perfect little stars. Okay? I just dip the back end in like this in a big puddle of white. And all I'm going to do is just put a couple dots here and there. A few different spots. Kind of all over the place. Smaller, bigger, it doesn't even matter. It's kind of, these little tiny details are what set off your painting. Okay, this is what makes your painting. You don't even really realize how much you need them until you do them. Until you put them on there and then you're like, oh, wow, that changes everything. It's so funny how that happens. So funny how that happens. Think this is one of your favorites? Really? Well, I'm so happy because it's going to end up on our wall, I'm sure. And so I'm all done. Okay, we're going to put just a couple here, a couple there. There we go. Stars in the water. A couple over here. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I think it's so pretty. I'm so excited to teach this tomorrow. And I wish some of you were closer so that you could come because you would love it. You would love it. I'm hoping my daughter gets to come with me. She's kind of got a lot going on. She's started moving, and her and my granddaughter would probably have a blast. All right. What do we think? I think that's it. I think we are actually done. Now, of course, one of the most important parts is to sign your name to your painting. I'm horrible at signing my name to my painting. I never, ever do. But I think this time around, I'm just going to put my initials right here on the corner. Call it good. What do you think? So, if you have caught this and you like this, and you think I did a good job, and it's something you want to do, hit all those wonderful hearts and all that good stuff. Let me know you were here. If you are able to make it tomorrow, I think the cost is $30 is what she charges. I provide everything. It's a BYOB type thing. If you're interested, just let me know. If you catch the replay, just hashtag replay. Let me know what you think, y'all. Look at, isn't it pretty? I think it's so pretty. So thank you so much. It holds in place. Yes. Yes, it does. So thank you guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great time. I hope tomorrow, if I had decent service, I would go live at the event so y'all can see it. But I always have bad service out there, so that's probably not going to happen. But thanks for joining me. Y'all have a great night. Bye now.